Round 4 has begun. Our opponent is Bahara, and according to Goldfish, he plays a familiar deck, so I'm not sure how this matchup will play out. I do have a decent amount of sideboard cards for it, but the Sunscape Familiars will probably be pretty difficult to deal with. And I think that this should be an interesting match, assuming that that's what he's actually playing today. Terramorphic Expanse does make me believe that he is in fact on the familiar deck. Now, should I play Ripaboa or should I play Young Wolf and Ranger? I would like to go with the Ripaboa play, just because I believe it matches up better against any of his 2-drops. He's likely to search out an island with this Terramorphic Expanse, or play an island next turn. He goes for plains. He plays a Sunscape Familiar and blocks the Riverboa. That means he's going to play a Ravnica Bounce Land. Let me see what's in the sideboard. Often they have a sideboard card that can be a Fade Away. I'll have to play around that next game. And 3 Lone Missionaries. Might even bring in Prismatic Strands. But Fade Away is the card that I will be looking to play around next game. No reason not to just play out my whole hand here ahead of combat. Doesn't really make a difference. The only thing I could potentially see him doing is snapping back one of my creatures, but I'm not very worried about that. Sunscape Familiar. Alright, I think Rancor was a nice draw. The only question is, do I want to Rancor the Volt Scourge or the Riverboa or someone else? If I Rancor, and I can both Rancor and Vine Woods on this turn. And I am interested in killing the Sunscape Familiar. Let's see how much damage I can do to him right now. I have a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 power, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and you could block up to, we'll say, 3 of it, depending on how I do this. So I'm not worried about my life total, because combo, he can mill me to death. So I will use the Rancor on the Riverboa here. And now, whatever creature he blocks, I will use Vine's Wood on it to kill that familiar. And he will take 7. So now he has an island in play. The mere Riverboa is unblockable, and this is unblockable. And with Vines Woods, we will take down game 1. And so going into game 3 will be interesting just because we both have sideboard cards. And our sideboard cards for the match will make it even more difficult to play. Or play around, however you want to think about it. So I want to bring in land destruction because he runs rather for bounce lands. And his deck operates a lot off of bouncing his fairies back to his hand and using his graveyard. So a lot of cards coming in here. What do I want to take out? Not that keen on the safe hold elite. Eric's Champion. Well, it can attack into a Sunscape Familiar, pretty good. And it can also attack through any type of creatures that he wants to block and snap his own creature back to his hand. I have 6 cards to take out. What do I think about Prey Upon? I do believe it's the weakest card in the deck, but because my opponent does run 0 threes, it gives me, it might be one of the ideal cards for this matchup. Creeping Graves, Tapstone, so the 2 fadeaways are definitely coming in. And probably the Lone Missionaries, and maybe even Prismatic Strands. Well, I'm putting in Scattershot, so I have to take out the Vault Scourge. And 4 more cards. Do I really need all that? I'm not sure I like Hunger of the Howlpack here. This isn't a matchup where that's useful. 2 more cards need to come out. I'll just do 2 Mutagenic Growth. Not sure if taking out the Mutagenic Growths are the correct play. Just having a little problem thinking about what else I'd want to take out. And I think Prey Upon might actually be useful in this matchup, just because he runs Sunscape Familiar. I will keep. What I like about his hand is it has 1 land. In order for me to cast a land destruction spell, I will have to draw 2 more, but at least the likelihood of me getting flooded out is a lot less. So next turn I'll probably go Rancor, and then either Netless Sentinel or Groundswell. I could just go Garrick's Champion, but that's only adding 3 power. My opponent just, you just play that this turn. So let's say I could go Groundswell, attack, because I don't know when I'll hit my next land draw. I would rather go Rancor though. I think the likelihood of me drawing either another land or the elf that lets me return a land to my hand is good enough for me to do this now. Swing for 4. Net Arsenal. And on top. Good thing about Wind permanent, I can sacrifice it to fade away. So if we cast that, I could just sacrifice 4 in a forest. Now he's playing cards, which will generate him 1 extra mana. Seagate Oracle. Alright, so now I have interesting options here. I can either do some groundswell tricks, or I can play a land destruction spell. So I definitely am playing the land. I'm definitely attacking. Now if I destroy this land here, this turn, I let him kill that guy and I just kill the fairy. Or I can groundswell, kill both his creatures, and then play Garrick's companion. Not sure if I call it Garrick's champion earlier. Or I could double groundswell, hit him for 12, bring him down to 4. I want to wipe his team out. Okay, this saves my elf to attack next turn. And it also allows me to get this guy in play. I will use the land destruction spell next turn and hold on the groundswell. Now the familiar deck is known for being able to pull victories out of a completely empty board. And by completely empty, I just mean just have hands in play, then it untaps and wins. Alright, so my opponent does have an island. So I think I want to attack with both guys and blow up a land. If he blocks either way, he's preventing 2 damage. Blocking the Rancor one is better though, because it makes me have to spend mana casting Rancor. Alright, the question is, does my opponent have Snap in hand? If my opponent has Snap in hand, it would be very bad for me. If he doesn't, I could go rank 4 and play a Forest Groundswell, swing for 8. And that would cause me to win. Now if he doesn't have Snap in hand, he has 6 cards in hand. He's used 1 Snap. Pretty sure they're on 4. Yeah, they're on 4. I'll assume he has Snap in hand, and I will try and play around that then. So that will entail attacking and then playing just the Riverboa, or do I want to hold this land in play in my hand? Or do I want to play it now? A lot of choices right here, and it could easily decide who ends this match. How well do I value Derek's companion over the Riverboa compared to the value of Groundswell? I will just attack for 2, play Derek's companion, and hope that will mean between winning 4 and Groundswell I will be able to win next time. Let's see, if I do play my land now and play Riverboa, it puts another 2 power on the board. With the 2 pump, yeah, I like that. This way, even this Groundswell without the landfall will be very useful next turn on the Riverboa. Cycles a Cloud of Fairies. So he's still holding up Snap. Question is how many. If he has 2 snaps in hand, then he's in really good position. If he only has 1 snap in hand, I can cast Rancor on the Riverboa, and then he could snap it back, and then I can cast Groundswell on these other guys, and that should swing for enough to win me the match. I might want to cast it on the Metal Sentinel instead, just because it would cost me less mana to recast it. Alright, he snaps it back to my hand. which was expected. So we lose rank 4. So he's used 2 snaps. He's drawn 18 cards. Does he have snap number 3? Looks like he does. So I can either play Riverboa or Netless Tunnel and Scattershot. The Riverboa will be unblockable, and the Scattershot is good for dealing with Cloud of Fairies, which he doesn't have any now. He has 4 cards in hand. I will play the Riverboa just because it's unblockable, and this way if he plays Sunscape Familiar and he wants to use that as a blocker, I'll have to block my 3-2 as opposed to a 2-2. Oh, he gets to gain 4 life. That is horrendous. At least he already used 3 snaps, so he only has 1 snap left. And until he can resolve a mnemonic wall, he will only have 1 snap left in his deck. Alright, knowing that my opponent does run cards that return creatures from his graveyard to his hand, it makes me not want to attack with the Garrick's Companion here. If I attack just with the Riverboa, that will put him at 5, and then I can play the rest of my hand out and hopefully win next turn. And let's say if he has, how many creatures does he have in his graveyard? 1, 2, 3, 4. I would be really adding a lot to the storm count. Oh, I don't see that Reaping Gravestone. Oh, it's 1 in his sideboard. I don't think he'd bring it in for this match. In that case, I'll attack with everything. Alright, so this guy is not very blockable. Or at least you can't block him with the Sunscape Familiar. Only the Muldrifter really in his deck. My opponent has 3 cards in hand. He gets to draw a card on his turn. Hopefully this was enough to win. And he has the Reaping Graves. No, he has Capsize with the buyback. Oh no, Capsize without the buyback. Oh. My opponent has 3 cards in hand. I have a 2/1 unblockable, a 2/2, and a scattershot archer, which is a 1/2. That makes playing any clouded fairies for blockers useless. My opponent has given up. So we made it to the prizes. We went 3-1. So we'll get 6 packs. And that is a fairly decent showing. A lot better than I did last week with this deck when I went 1 and 2. So I think that this deck is positioned well in the format. I think Mono Black Control was positioned better, but due to Treasure Cruise, this deck tends to be faster than the decks that will run Treasure Cruise, but it didn't work out today against our Delver matchup. And it, as we saw, is a very good matchup against Mono Black Control, as we did play Mono Black Control in round 1 and 2, and was able to win that, both of those. So I definitely like this deck, and I might even be playing this tomorrow. So I hope you enjoyed it, and thank you for watching.